Part 130. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1294. Remember in 1 second to provide you with wonderful novels to read. Anyway, for them, the competition between ordinary creatures is just a pre-match spice and does not count in the points. Win or lose does not matter. What a wonderful creature, I can feel it. Its structure is not all metal, otherwise it would definitely not be able to move. And if it were all metal and still able to move, its strength would definitely be crushing in terms of defense alone. How can you fight with ordinary creatures when you are on an average Earth level? In a short period of time, Jia Yan ignored the doubts around him and looked at the metal creature directly. After sighing for a while, he made a mistake in his steps. At the moment when the metal creature seemed to have hit him, it avoided the opponent's attack with a peculiar footwork that even though it looked unpleasant, it could not be launched in a single step. What? You can dodge this? Could it be that he deliberately let the other party's attack get closer before dodging it? Pretentious, too pretentious. A mere ordinary level creature is so pretentious. Is there any principle left in the world? Every soldier and player was in high spirits. To be honest, in their opinion, Jia Yanzuo's actions were not as powerful as theirs at all, but he was just an ordinary creature, and being able to do this was completely beyond imagination. Why do I think that even if I try to hide, an Earth-level creature like me can't escape that blow in such a short period of time? Is he even stronger than me? It's impossible. Among the soldiers on the sidelines, several soldiers were surprised by Jia Yan's fighting. Although that dodge didn't show any particularly terrifying speed, it only showed how subtle and terrifying Jia Yan's dodge was. Some soldiers even thought that even they couldn't do Jia Yan's hiding. Of course, even some prefecture-level soldiers think so, but they won't say it, because saying it means they admit that at least in this aspect, they can't even compare with a mere ordinary creature. You rock. The metal creature was also shocked when he saw that Jia Yan had dodged his blow in an instant. If Jia Yan had dodged when he launched the attack, he wouldn't have been so shocked, but Jia Yan deliberately attacked in front of him. He himself thought that he would definitely hit the opponent and even win, but Jia Yan dodged it smoothly. How could this not shock him? Of course, Jia Yan himself would not feel any pride or other emotions just because he was so simply praised by others. After all, his actual strength is that of a star-level strongman. If he was shocked by a group of biological soldiers who were not even below the second level and was happy, he would not be able to reach his current level. Oh, the body looks strange, but the attack methods are actually in the form of ordinary creatures. I thought such a creature would use some strange attack methods. Jia Yan shook his head helplessly, feeling that he was overthinking. When living things reach a certain level, they will be like knowledge, which will eventually turn into one aspect. It seems that the strong system, at least in this galaxy, even if there are strong and weak ones, it is unlikely that there will be an existence that transcends the existing system. Because this is the system of the universe, and even to put it far, it is because everyone is in the same galaxy environment, and it is normal for everyone to end up with the same face. Even though this metal life form looks strange, it still follows this basic law. With a long sigh, Jia Yan estimated that he would not be able to see any unique creatures in this galaxy. Come die. The metal creature sensed Jia Yan's sigh, indicating that he was looking down on him, and suddenly burst into anger, and struck out in the direction of Jia Yan again. This foot is extremely hard. Even though he is still an ordinary creature, the metal on the body surface is not fake. The hardness is not much worse than ordinary metal. However, no matter how hard it is and how powerful it is, it will have no effect if it cannot hit. When its attack reached Jia Yan had already jumped up. Still holding his hands behind his back, he jumped up to a height of about one person's height and came right in front of the creature in front of him. Then he tapped the tip of his toe and kicked the metal creature in the eye. Ah! The opponent's eyes were instantly injured and he screamed, "Why did he attack?" Jia Yan did not stop moving. Now that he saw the face of this strange creature clearly, he would not be entangled with such an ordinary creature for too long. Just as he kicked the creature with one foot, the sole of the other foot stepped on the opponent's head. After bouncing up, he used his toes as an attack weapon and instantly penetrated the soft tissue of the metal creature's neck. Puff! The metal creature seemed to have lost all vitality and fell directly to the ground. What? Is this solved? I didn't even see that kick clearly. Does anyone know what happened? When the soldiers saw that Jia Yan was so calm, they completely knocked down the metal creature. Almost every one of them showed solemnity and shock. You must know that this is just an ordinary creature, but his battles actually made a group of soldiers above the prefecture level completely confused. This shows how shocking Jia Yan's series of battles was. This guy named Jia Yan is from the 5th satellite, right? Let's see if there is any way to bring him to our garrison planet. He is a talented person. A sub-level creature on the sidelines saw Jia Yan's battle, and his eyes were full of love for talent. You must know that an ordinary creature would not attract any attention from a dignified sub-level creature. However, this sub-level creature developed a love for Jia Yan's talents. It can be seen that Jia Yan what an impact the battle with Yan had on him. Of course, if he wants Jia Yan to come, he will not let him go to the battlefield to kill the enemy, because such an ordinary creature, no matter how wonderful his moves are, is still too fragile under the suppression of absolute power. He wanted Jia Yan to come because he wanted to see if he could help the soldiers improve their combat techniques. Maybe this would be a good direction for the entire garrison to become stronger in the future. But when he was still thinking about so many things in the future, he heard a group of soldiers around him making a loud noise. Damn, this Jia Yan is so good at pretending. He is still holding his hands behind his back. Why? Isn't he just fighting an ordinary creature? Maybe it was me. I can defeat one without using my 2 feet. Ordinary creatures. I can see it. This guy is a master of pretense. It doesn't matter if he beats an ordinary creature with his hands behind his back. If he has the ability, he can beat a prefecture-level player. Damn it, what's the point of pretending to be with an ordinary creature? One by one, the soldiers seemed to be stimulated. They looked at Jia Yan who had ended the battle, still holding his hands behind his back, and almost roared. This was the first time that the soldiers even booed their own players. This Jia Yan is really too, how should I say, sharp-edged. But he hasn't said a word since he arrived. Alas, it should be said that he acts in a unique way. The second-level person who was optimistic about Jia Yan just now suddenly smiled bitterly. He thought that if he really recruited this ordinary creature, it might not be the right decision. After all, an ordinary creature came to this lowest level. On a garrison planet where Earth-level creatures are also present, if you try to show off, you might be beaten to death by the soldiers in a few days. But it seems that Jia Yan heard the noise of a group of soldiers. When Jia Yan returned to the sidelines, he made a request to the second-level player that shocked him completely. What? You want to participate in a prefecture-level competition? This, Jia Yan, the strength of the prefecture level is completely superior to ordinary creatures, don't be too confident. That level creature was completely unhappy. Jia Yan really went too far. It's okay to be so showy on the court, but you still want to show off when you're off. Heh, Captain, I think I'll let him give it a try. We happen to be missing one candidate from the other side at the prefecture level, and they are always hurting us on this point. Now that we have a player, wouldn't it be a good thing? I think it's okay. Since this guy thinks he can fight with us at the prefecture level, let him give it a try. Anyway, it's none of our business if he dies. Several Earth-level creatures looked furious after hearing Jia Yan's request, and then actually helped Jia Yan speak. Their plan is naturally to want this ordinary creature who dares to look down on them at the Earth level to encounter a powerful opponent in this Earth level, and then die directly. After all, any Earth level player would definitely be furious if he saw a white star actually sending an Earth level creature to deal with him. Okay, I'll go talk to the adults. That time when the Guan level met all the Earth level players and creatures, they all requested this. Even the Starry Sky level experts on the side wanted to see what it felt like for Jia Yan to fight with the Earth level, and they immediately agreed reluctantly. In fact, he himself had some doubts about whether Jia Yan could fight an Earth level creature. If there was really an ordinary creature that could fight an Earth level creature, wouldn't it mean that they had met someone who could transcend levels? A genius who kills enemies. Maybe this is what Jia Yan wants to express. He is a genius. This second level creature suddenly thought of this possibility. Of course, whether Jia Yan thinks this way is not something these soldier creatures can understand. My request now is not out of boredom, but when I was fighting just now, I seemed to feel that the stars in the sky were faintly paying attention to me when I was fighting. Jia Yan raised his eyes vaguely and placed them on the sky above his head. Above the blue sky, there was a faint gaze, reflected from a distance, looking at the current Jia Yan clone. Oh, have you noticed that there is something weird about my clone? Jia Yan thought for a while, then smiled slightly. Since he wants to watch, let him watch as much as he wants, but at the same time. Jia Yan smiled. My real body will also come close to observe you. Mobile phone users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1295. Remember in 1 second to provide you with wonderful novels to read. In the starry sky, a creature was hiding in the shadows, carefully observing the garrison star below. For a star-level powerhouse, it is very simple to make yourself invisible in front of a group of creatures that are no more than half star level. What exactly is that creature called Jia Yan? From what I can tell, it seems to be completely different from ordinary creatures. This creature hiding in the shadows was thinking lightly. As a star-level powerhouse who is good at calculations, this creature is extremely cautious. He knows that the white star that he sneaked into this time is a galaxy with a star-level existence. Unfortunately, that white star is the seed star overlord is more powerful than him. Therefore, he had to be cautious. I have been feeling towards Jia Yan these days. He is not just an ordinary creature. Obviously, he is hiding his strength, but no matter how I look at it, he is only at the second level at most, but he gave me another strong feeling, that is, this guy is by no means as simple as a second level. What is the problem? I need to observe carefully. Since he is going to fight at the Earth level again, he must show some brainwave power, so that we can see some clues. This stellar powerhouse looked at the movement below calmly. In fact, when he looked at the creature named Jia Yan, it was not because he was really afraid of this ordinary level creature, but because he was being cautious. After all, he had not yet found a way to get that thing. I wonder if this creature named Jia Yan was arranged by the White Star Overlord? But he would never have thought that I would be here in person, would he? This star-level creature is extremely confident in his existence. As a star, he is an existence that defies heaven. Even if the garrison star is a bit tricky, as long as the White Star Overlord does not appear, he has absolute confidence in any situation. Now he is waiting until the backhand he arranged on the planet causes the defense to loosen, then he will take advantage of the chaos to achieve his destination. This stellar creature, because he focused most of his attention on the competition between ordinary creatures on the garrison planet, did not expect that in the subspace around him, a huge flying creature came lightly. So he's here, which makes it easier for me to find him. The huge creature in this space must be extremely frightening for an Earthling to see. Because it looks like a mosquito, but its size is compared to the average mosquito on Earth, and it magnifies the creature who knows how many times. His torso alone reaches a length of 1 kilometer, and the surface of his body is completely black. Although part of his body is in a broken state, this does not cover up his fierce momentum in the slightest, and even highlights his momentum. Yes, he is none other than the giant Mosquito Jiayan. At this moment, Jiayan completely concealed his star-level aura, and then quietly released it. After determining the location of the star-level powerhouse, his expression moved slightly. This change in demeanor does not mean that Jiayan is shocked or appalled by this stellar existence. But for another reason. Hey, how come, this stellar feeling? Jiayan was stunned for a while. So weak. He was surprised. Jiayan really felt that the star-level powerhouse in front of him was actually very weak. At least he was the weakest among the many star-level beings he had encountered. At this time, Jiayan was completely surprised, because such a star level, not to mention compared with the star level such as the Western bandits he had encountered before, even compared with the Kongping he killed initially, seemed inferior. Up a level. Could it be that the star-level creatures I encountered before were too powerful? Jiayan felt that the strength of the star-level expert in front of him was stable at the star level, and he must have understood the domain, but in his opinion, if he did it himself, the opponent would definitely not be able to sustain even his 10 moves. You must know that Jiayan is still injured now. A strange light flashed in Jiayan's eyes, and an imminent intention emerged in his heart. But after thinking about it, he gave up his desire to fight. After all, he is still injured, and more importantly, he has no reason to fight at this time. If the opponent's strength is not only what he feels, but also has other special tricks, even if it cannot hurt his life, it will be aggravated. What about the injury? The risks were simply out of proportion to the rewards, so Jiayan gave up. That star-level creature, just as Jiayan thought, did not realize that Jiayan was around, and was still observing Jiayan's clone on the garrison star. At this moment, the clone, under the control of Jiayan, fought with an Earth-level creature. Haha, Junior, you actually want to fight with my Earth-level existence. You must know that I am also a genius in the Earth level. You will definitely die. The Earth-level opponent, who was 10 meters in size, kicked Jiayan. But this extremely confident kick was actually dodged by Jiayan as he was reluctant to dodge it. The star level has been detected, and many things have been determined through his strength, so this battle should end quickly. Jiayan's eyes flashed, and then his hands behind his back finally relaxed. Look, this Jiayan not only dodged a blow from a prefecture-level genius with his hands behind his back, but now he actually made an attack move. Awesome, his hiding seemed dangerous, but judging from this guy's demeanor, he must be completely under his control. This fighting talent is unparalleled. He loosened his palms. This guy loosened his palms for the first time. God. One by one, the soldiers stared in disbelief when they saw that Jiayan had actually dodged a blow from a prefecture-level genius. Especially those few prefecture-level soldiers who had always thought that Jiayan was not that powerful, now seeing that he could not even dodge the combat moves of a powerful prefecture-level genius in the Helong Galaxy, their minds were pounding, thinking that they had seen wrong. And then, Jiayan released his palm, and suddenly his momentum was like that of a peerless master about to show off his strength, which made the surrounding soldiers all horrified. Even the more powerful starry sky level and sub-level creatures looked at Jiayan with a faint change in their eyes at this moment. As strong men, they could completely see that Jiayan's aura changed at this moment. Although he didn't have much sense of being a strong man, his aggressiveness was by no means ordinary. They looked at each other solemnly. This guy has a very strong fighting talent. He is definitely not an ordinary creature, a sub-level general said calmly to the creature on the side. Be sure to tell the superiors about this when you go back. I heard that in the distant starry sky, there is a place called the Stellar Academy. There are many geniuses there. If such a fighting genius might be able to meet him in the Stellar Academy, try your luck. As long as he can achieve something and come back to repay the White Star, we will be lucky. So in this competition, we can't let him die. Jia Yan did not expect that a trace of his fighting spirit would be recognized by a group of creatures around him as a super genius. And such a striking way of acting would have been risky for him to be exposed. But the real body was right next to him, and for Jia Yan, there didn't seem to be anything to be afraid of being exposed, so he acted unscrupulously. Bang! With a gentle step under his feet, Jia Yan jumped up lightly using all the strength of an earthling. When he reached a height of more than 2 meters, in front of him, the Earth-level enemy who was more than 10 meters tall looked almost crazy. He's just an ordinary creature, yet he dares to challenge me, an Earth-level genius, and makes me lose face and seek death. He moved suddenly, using his own steps to kick Jia Yan with all his strength. However, in mid-air, Jia Yan easily dodged the kick, then stepped on the protrusion of the opponent's body, and rushed towards the opponent's head step by step. That level creature was completely shocked. The creature he faced was really unbelievable. His body was more than 10 meters tall. With the physique of an ordinary creature, he couldn't jump so high with just one step. However, this guy actually looked like he was just strolling around, stepping on certain parts of his body step by step, using force. It was about to reach his head. As for any creature, the head is almost the most critical part, and his heaven-level creature is no exception. If he climbs up, I will die. This heaven-level creature, in disbelief, punched with all its strength again, but Jia Yan seemed to have expected it, and stepped out of the way. It's incredible. It's incredible, this prediction, this confidence. The White Star generals on the side were completely surprised when they saw this scene. Originally, they thought that Jia Yan's fighting talent was powerful, but they did not dare to imagine that he was so powerful. This ability to predict was beyond the imagination of ordinary creatures, and even they felt that it was unparalleled. But no matter how shocked they were, Jia Yan's battle continued. After jumping on the head of the heaven-level creature, before the heaven-level creature repented and wanted to admit defeat, he turned his fist into a finger and inserted one finger into the opponent's eye socket. Within. Puff. There was a violent explosion, accompanied by blood of strange colors flying everywhere, creating an extremely shocking scene. Okay, I should win. Jia Yan didn't care about the shock of the creatures around him. He jumped lightly to the ground and asked lightly. You win. As the referee, the White Star sub-level creature felt that he could not speak at this time. When Jia Yan spoke, he finally came to his senses and announced the outcome of the battle. You are definitely cheating. I have objections to this battle. There is definitely something wrong with Jia Yan. Over in the Helong Galaxy, the half-star level expert who led the team secretly glanced at the surrounding sub-level creatures, and then suddenly burst into flames. This son's fighting talent is too strong. If he grows up, he will be a huge threat to our Helong Galaxy. No matter what, we must destroy him first. Mobile users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1296. Remember in 1 second to provide you with wonderful novels to read. Huh? Are you going to take action? This is a good opportunity for me. When a group of Helong Galaxy creatures in the arena took action, the stellar powerhouse hidden in the starry sky finally looked happy. Watching a group of weaklings fight for so long was completely unbearable for him. As for the group of creatures below, they were shocked by the talent of Jia Yan's clone. There were even creatures from the Helong galaxy that wanted to kill Jia Yan because of this, but he had no interest in watching. Because he has already judged that Jia Yan is a sub-level being. Is it worth his shock when a sub-level person defeats an Earth-level person? He was going to take advantage of this chaos to get that thing. This guy takes action. And just as he acted, Jia Yan's true form, which was hidden deeper, also felt the other party's strange movement at this moment. The star-level creature was seen flying in stealth mode, pressing towards the garrison star below. His speed was extremely slow, because even if a conflict broke out in the battle arena, in fact most of the power on the entire planet was still functioning normally. He is waiting for a more reasonable opportunity to take action. Puff. Jia Yan was multitasking, and he also guessed what the star was waiting for. Since you have to wait for a more chaotic opportunity, then I will give you a chance. Anyway, no matter what you want to get, I will eventually get involved. There is an old saying, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is still mine. Jia Yan smiled strangely in his heart, controlled his clone, aimed at the creatures of the galaxy that took action, and roared angrily. You actually made a sneak attack, so die. He showed a second level of strength. However, this level is completely different from the surrounding sub-levels. What? This Jia Yan is actually a sub-level. Cheating, it is indeed cheating. You White Galaxy, you actually broke the rules and used a sub-level to act as an ordinary creature, and also killed the powerful creatures in our Helong Galaxy. This is simply a blatant provocation. When we go back, we must repay our overlord of the Helong Galaxy and make you, the White Star Field, pay the price. The half-star powerhouse from the Helong Galaxy who rushed towards Jia Yan seemed to have found some reason to attack his opponent at this moment, and he roared ferociously. On the other hand, the garrison star generals and soldiers who were originally preparing to stop the creatures in the Helong Galaxy were stunned for a moment. What? This Jia Yan actually cheated? Is he actually a sub-level powerhouse? Why is this happening? We have not received such information at all. This, what should we do now, help or not? Just as a group of garrison star creatures were hesitating, Jia Yan, who was in the center of the battle platform, was already fighting against the semi-star level being that was flying towards the Helong Galaxy, and he was the first to fight. I thought you were some kind of genius, but you turned out to be a mere passer. Now, you should be damned if you cheat. Just die. Even though the half-star existence knew that Jia Yan was not a genius but a cheater, he still did not hold back and kill Jia Yan with just one blow. For him, it would be a great achievement to kill a sub-level creature from the White Star. After all, between the two galaxies, in addition to the peerless star-level overlord, the sub-level existence can also be regarded as the most important. It has great combat power, and being able to kill one person will also have a great impact on the balance between the two sides. Of course, even now, he has not seen that this creature named Jia Yan is a sub-level general of the White Star, but it is always right to kill him. You think it's half-star level, so you want to kill me? Jia Yan looked at the feet of the huge creature in front of him and shook his head lightly. Then, he raised the fist of his Quan-level clone. Puff! The two sides exchanged punches, and in an instant, waves of air surged up. This bastard from the Helong Galaxy wants to seize the opportunity and kill our ordinary soldiers, but he can't do it. Bastard! On the side of the White Star General, almost every senior officer was angry. At this moment, they quickly used their brainwave power to help ordinary soldiers defend against the shock waves caused by the battle. As for Jia Yan in the center of the battlefield, they had no idea of helping him. After all, not only was it too late, but also because after a quick exchange in secret, they found that no one knew who arranged for Jia Yan to come. How could they help such a guy who doesn't know who he is or what he is? That Jia Yan will definitely be killed in one strike. Next, We just need to ask the bastards of the Linghe Dragon Galaxy to pay compensation. The generals of the White Star have already conceived the picture of how to negotiate compensation with the Helong Galaxy half-star. But what they didn't expect at all was when the explosive scene flashed by and exploded again. Boom! In the center of the battlefield, there was actually the half-star powerhouse who attacked Jia Yan. With shock in his eyes, he and the tiny Jia Yan flew away after the fight. What, it's actually a tie. A sub-level and a half-star level are tied. How is this possible? The entire battlefield, inside and outside, was completely shocked and speechless at this moment. At this scene, even the star-level creatures stationed outside the star that quietly approached the atmosphere were startled and almost emerged from their invisibility. What? That creature named Jia Yan can actually fight to a tie with a half-star creature with a sub-level strength. It seems that he is not an ordinary secondary level. However, this has nothing to do with me. Let's be chaotic. The more chaotic, the better. My chance has come. Even the senior officials of the Garrison Star don't know about Jia Yan. Origin, under such circumstances, the planet will definitely become more chaotic, and I will be able to take advantage of the chaos later. The stellar creature's eyes lit up. Just as he imagined, Jia Yan on the battlefield actually attacked the surrounding creatures without any rules. Jia Yan, you are just a second pass, but you still want to fight me. Why can't I kill you even though I use stellar moves? We can definitely kill Jia Yan if we join forces. Jia Yan, you, why are you even attacking my white soldiers? Aren't we partners? Messy. Total chaos. On the battlefield, Jia Yan's eyes flashed with a ruthless look. His attacks continued to be released, and not only attacked the river dragon creatures, but even attacked the soldiers and generals of the White Star. Now, the Garrison Star soldier creatures who originally only wanted to watch the excitement had to join the battlefield. You white bastards, what are you doing? This lunatic Jia Yan is going crazy. If you don't stop him, you actually attack us instead. Monkeys from the Helong Galaxy, you must have done something. Maybe you brought this Jia Yan. Kill him. After a while, the creatures from the Helong Galaxy were fighting with the creatures from the White Star. After a while, Jia Yan was fighting fiercely with the strong men from the White Star. Even under certain circumstances, the strong men of the Helong Galaxy would join forces with the soldiers of the White Star, beating Jia Yan until Jia Yan was almost unable to fight back. It was a total chaos. The creatures on both sides couldn't figure out why they started fighting. And why are they beating back and forth? It seems that not many people have died, but there is a palm that is controlling them, making them beat as long as possible. Of course, in this battle, there was only one creature who remained clear-headed from beginning to end without any doubts. Because this creature is the initiator of all this. At the same time, he also deliberately balances the power of both sides during the battle, escalates the conflict, and then expands the impact. Of course he is Jia Yan. Let's make chaos. If that star level doesn't dare to take action in such a big battle, then I won't be able to help anymore. Jia Yan smiled strangely in his heart. His body, which was smaller than ordinary creatures, could reach speeds that no one else could believe in a chaotic battle. In an instant, he reached a certain Hedra Galaxy creature and helped him in crisis by kicking away the opponent's attack. In an instant, he was in front of a White Star being, who blocked a sneak attack from a creature from the Helong Galaxy. Of course, there are too few creatures in the Helong Galaxy. In most cases, Jia Yan is helping the Helong Galaxy. Asshole, this Jia Yan must be from the Helong Galaxy. Quick, sound the alarm, deploy the defenses, and ask several half-star level adults to come over to help. No matter how powerful this Jia Yan is, he will not be able to fight against several half-star level adults surrounded by super strong men. He only has one word of death. The white stars are full of hatred for Jiayan. On the other hand, in the Helong galaxy on the other side, although they had been rescued several times by Jiayan, they were still full of hatred for the Jiayan who had messed up everything. What is this? Aren't we just here to participate in a competition? Why are we being besieged in the enemy's base camp? I'm going to die, I'm going to die. A group of creatures from the Helong galaxy hate Jiayan, the instigator, almost to the sky. Both sides hated Jiayan, but Jiayan's clone still acted like an innocent person, messing up the situation when the two sides were fighting. He was too fast, and with his small size, no one could catch him. It's moving. The defenses on this planet are all paying attention to this place, and most of the several semi-star level beings have also moved here. Jiayan suddenly felt this situation. All right, the one in the sky, I can only help you so much. If you dare not take any action, don't blame my real body for punching you later. Jiayan looked at the sky, but his expression quickly calmed down and he joined the next battle. And just as he imagined, the stellar powerhouse in the sky finally took action after seeing that the battle below was getting more and more chaotic. This small-scale conflict actually broke out into this situation. It's great. Let's continue the chaos. I'll have a better chance of taking action. This creature was almost ecstatic, no longer hiding its figure, and suddenly appeared from mid-air. Mobile phone users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1297. Remember in 1 second to provide you with wonderful novels to read. Finally took action. When the arrogant figure appeared in mid-air, Jiayan in the subspace showed his expected intentions. I saw that the huge creature was actually a bird-like creature. He is over a kilometer tall, and with his wings spread out, he has a wingspan of about 3 kilometers. In particular, his claws are extremely pointed and long, almost exceeding half the length of his body. And the talent of this creature also showed its clues when it revealed its figure. The space around him continued to cut during the flight, and the sound of breaking through the air shot up in the mid-air, which showed the power of this cutting. It can be seen that even if he is not gifted with space, he is definitely a gifted creature related to space, especially the ability to cut. Even Jiayan in the subspace felt a burst of surprise when he saw it. I see, he can cut space, so before he used the power of brain waves to hide his body, even what I saw was a bit unreal. This should be simulating the power of space distortion. As soon as the creature appeared in the sky, the alarm sound in the garrison star started loudly. What? That is in the sky. No, this is, the overlord of the Helong galaxy, Helong. What? Is it true that the overlord of the Helong galaxy cannot come to my garrison planet in person? Is this all a conspiracy, and even Jiayan is a pawn of the Helong galaxy? It must be, otherwise look at him, why is he constantly wreaking havoc, just to create opportunities for the appearance of the river dragon? Quick, let's get back to our posts and activate our defenses, otherwise it will be too late. One by one, the creatures on the garrison planet, especially the strong ones, just ran out of their posts and wanted to go to the competition field to help solve the chaos. Unexpectedly, after running not far away, they saw the constant above their heads. Star creature. Compared to a star, things on the playing field are completely trivial. So they quickly reversed their steps and wanted to return to their posts first. On this planet, except for powerful defensive technology, nothing could defend against the attack of a powerful star. This river dragon must have come here because of that thing. He went back on his word. What a bastard. Don't worry so much. Now that he's here, we have to deal with it well. Maybe we still have a chance. Among this group of creatures who hurried back to their posts, the 3.5-star level experts were one of the most powerful creatures. At this time, They had just rushed out of the weird building. They originally planned to rush to support their colleagues in the competition venue, but now that they saw the star appeared, they quickly retreated towards their posts. Want to go back? It's too late. When one of them just arrived at the gate of the huge building, he felt a terrifying brainwave power locking him. This power is so terrifying. In an instant, this half-star powerhouse has no way to resist even though he has reached a high level among half-stars. What? Before the 2.5-star classes on the other side had time to react, a huge figure had already landed in front of them. This figure is too arrogant, especially the beak of the bird, where the clang of light appears, making people's scalp numb. He is the terrifying star-level powerhouse who flew all the way from outer space. At this time, he flew outside the huge building and quickly grabbed it with his claws. The creature that almost entered the building had no chance of escaping, and was caught into a pile of minced meat with just one claw. Helong, you bastard, aren't you afraid of the revenge of my white star overlord? The 2.5 stars on the other side were almost filled with jealousy. Are you white? If he has the ability, let him do it. Don't worry about me in the future. Now, just die. The bird creature actually launched a direct attack on the 2.5 star level people in front of it, regardless of their status as star level experts. But at this time, the reaction on the planet was also extremely fast. In this building place, a high-rise artillery fire was aimed at the bird star powerhouse at super speed, and a laser was shot at him. I'm not afraid of a mere laser cannon. There was a burst of space distortion on the surface of the bird creature, and the laser cannon coming from it was like a brilliant, but ineffective fireworks. Even though it was 3 meters thick, it was still under this distortion, slowly, disappeared into nothingness. Die. The big bird's claw fell, and another half-star creature was caught into pieces in front of his eyes. Asshole, if we had personally controlled this artillery fire, this wouldn't be the result. If you want to blame it, it's all the blame on the sub-level creature that caused the chaos. The last remaining half-star powerhouse was almost in despair, and at this moment, the only person he could resent was the sub-level creature who led them out of the building and onto the playing field, that is, Jia Yan. If he hadn't caused chaos, the whole garrison planet would be in chaos now. Otherwise, it would be absolutely impossible for this river dragon, even if it is a star level, to suddenly do so easily. He was almost furious. But what can be done about anger? Puff. When the powerful claws of the bird star level expert fell, his body could only turn into a ball of blood mist like his two friends. Haha, I'm about to get what I want. The bird creature saw that it had killed 3.5 star level experts. The building in front of it could be said to have nothing that could threaten it for the time being. Even the artillery fire could not attack him at all because the controller was not at half-star level. Cause some damages. Extremely excited at this time, he folded his wings and crashed into the building door. But what this strong man didn't know was that just when he crashed into the building, figures in the space were also following him faintly, entering the subspace position inside the building. What was even more exaggerated than him was that this figure did not attract anyone's attention. The unusual movement happening here has caused an uproar on the entire garrison planet. What? Jia Yan's purpose is to cover the invasion of the river dragon? This. It's broken. The Overlord wants us to take good care of that place. If the things inside are invaded by the river dragon, we will not be able to take responsibility even if all of us die. All the high-ranking disciples on the garrison planet, whether they were sub-level or semi-star level, were completely attracted by the arrival of the huge star-level powerhouse, and were easily attacked by the strongest enemy. Inside the star body, they felt that they were losing face. Of course, the bigger feeling in their hearts was a sense of crisis. After all, he is a star-level powerhouse. Now he uses the loopholes in the defense to break in. If he uses star-level strength, the entire garrison planet may be destroyed. Return to my post, quickly, use all artillery fire and defensive means, use the strongest power. Every soldier and high-ranking general on the garrison star, whether they were small soldiers or big shots, used their full strength at this moment. Their usually good combat readiness drill skills made their progress extremely smooth, and they quickly organized everything. But it's too late. When the bird creature rushed into the building, he had already exerted his brainwave power. With the brainwave power, the soldiers who did not have much protection on the surface of the entire garrison died one after another. Puff! Bang bang bang! Countless explosions resounded in the air, and the number of dead soldiers reached tens of thousands or even 100,000 in 1 second. They died easily not because they were too weak, but because their enemies were too strong. After all, this is a star-level powerhouse. On the playing field here, the creatures in the overall battle have gone crazy at this time. Jia Yan. You people from the Helong Galaxy are all bastards, despicable and shameless. Kill. If we don't kill them now, we will be the ones who die later. One by one, the White Star fighting masters were completely crazy at this moment. When they discovered that the enemy was actually using their battle at this time to let a star level enter the garrison star, each of these creatures almost understood that if they don't fight to the death, when the stellar star pulls out his hand, they will definitely die. And if they can win here, then a few strong men will return to their posts, and maybe there will be a way to use technological weapons to stop the terrifying star-level strong man. As for the creatures in the Helong Galaxy on the other side, they were completely confused at this time. What? Lord Helong is here in person. How come we don't know about it? Also, is this Jia Yan really a trick arranged by Lord Helong? Why haven't we seen him? At this moment, everything turned into doubts about the newcomers from the Helong Galaxy. But now that it is clear that Jia Yan is not their enemy, but should be one of their own, they have no more thoughts of taking action against Jia Yan. Haha, Jia Yan, I'm sorry for wrongly blaming you earlier. Let's join forces. Yes, you are very powerful. You must be a chess piece trained by Master Helong himself. Don't worry, we will protect you. Several creatures from the Helong Galaxy approached Jia Yan at this moment. They were all pleasantly surprised. If Jia Yan was their helper, then there might be a way to survive in the current situation. This Jia Yan's strength is extremely powerful. He seems to be at the sub-level level, but even the half-star level can't do anything to him. We work together with him and we will definitely be able to break through the encirclement. Several creatures from the Helong Galaxy originally thought they would die in the enemy's base camp, but they didn't expect that Jia Yan would actually be from their side. If there is such a fighting force, there might actually be a chance to escape. When the half-star creature from the Helong Galaxy approached Jia Yan excitedly, preparing to fight side by side with him. Suddenly, Jia Yan turned around. The body, which was much smaller than the opponent, suddenly crashed into the arms of the semi-stellar creature in the Helong Galaxy. Puff! The half-star powerhouse from the Helong Galaxy looked stunned. You! He lowered his head tremblingly, and saw that the small figure in his arms actually punched his arm into his chest, blood gurgling out, and his life force was rapidly draining away. Who said you and I are partners? Mobile phone users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1298. Remember in 1 second to provide you with wonderful novels to read. There was a loud noise in the air, and then the only half-star existence in the Helong Galaxy turned into a ball of blood mist. Jia Yan, who are you and what are you going to do? On the side of the Helong Galaxy, a sub-level leader witnessed this scene. He knew that the Helong Galaxy was missing a half-star leader and had no way to save it. The group was destined to be destroyed, so he roared out in despair. Me? I am Jia Yan. Jia Yan let out a long sigh, then turned and stepped back. Under the attack of this sub-level creature, he completely entered the subspace. What kind of move is this? It can also enter subspace. The creatures that were following in pursuit did not expect such a scene to happen, and they were all shocked. But then, the battle between the two sides started again. No matter where this creature named Jia Yan belongs, in short, he has left now. Although it is definitely not to do any good things, there are still other opponents in front of him. The two sides continued to fight. Jia Yan, who retreated into the subspace, was not pursued at all. He sighed and flew slowly towards the direction of the Edissa. The real body on the other side was still following behind the bird star level creature, but the roaring voice of the pass level creature before made him feel a little sigh. Who am I? Jia Yan himself didn't expect that an enemy's words would affect his heart for a moment. But after this moment, he immediately came back to his senses. I am who I am. Jia Yan, an evolved beast, is also a starry sky beast. The sparkle in Jia Yan's eyes flickered again. Not long after, the clone returned to the Edisha, while Jia Yan's real body continued to follow the bird star powerhouse. Even though he was relatively confident about his subspace talent, he still maintained a certain distance. I have created so many opportunities for you, you should be able to succeed now, right? Jia Yan looked at the bird creature outside the space indifferently, watching him break through the levels one after another that seemed to be very familiar. He couldn't help but nodded slightly. It seemed that this stellar powerhouse was very interested in this business. Already prepared. The items in those 3 rooms are good for me, and I feel that these things are also good for other star-level powerhouses. Even because I am an evolved beast, I have used a lot of energy materials. For this the tolerance of planting things is higher, so it may actually be more effective for ordinary creatures. Even so, Jia Yan would not let go of such an item that could help him. At the star level, there are not many items that are helpful to the powerful. Every star level must cherish any opportunity to gain strength, and Jia Yan is no exception. Sure enough, the star level bird creature did not stay in the first room, but rushed directly to the second room. After inputting a series of passwords with a brain-like electronic device, the second room, the doors to the 2 rooms opened instantly. I see. Is there any particular order in opening the doors? Jia Yan saw it from a distance and couldn't help but feel lucky that he didn't snatch it. If he did, he would definitely not get anything. Now let me see what's inside. When the stellar bird quickly entered and came out of the second room, Jia Yan, who was hiding in the subspace, suddenly felt a strong desire to absorb in his body. Hey, why do I feel that this thing is very similar to the starry sky ghost I saw before? It attracts me very much. It must have something to do with the starry sky ghost. Jia Yan felt something similar to the feeling he had when he saw the starry sky ghost in the bird monster that day, and immediately concluded that this thing must have something to do with the so-called starry sky ghost. Hold it for now, now is not the time to take action. Jia Yan looked at the giant bird, which was still moving quickly, and resisted the desire to take action. Because the other party is obviously still collecting things from the other 2 rooms. If he takes action now, he will lose the amount of those 2 square rooms. The big bird creature has no idea that another star-level powerhouse is targeting him. He just wants to act quickly now. After all, the power of the garrison star is still very scary. If he moves slowly, maybe the garrison star will be destroyed. The weapons on are restored to use. At that time, we will be at a loss. He quickly followed the same method and entered the first room. Within a few seconds, he appeared in the building again. It seemed to Jia Yan that he had obtained another mysterious thing. More than 20 seconds passed, and the third item also arrived in his hands. Okay, leave now. The big bird creature has felt that most of the entire planet's defenses have returned to normal, and an earth-shattering energy is faintly aimed at itself. He quickly flew up from the building complex. But when he flew up, a fierce light with unique characteristics flew towards the bird creature and suddenly attacked. Can it actually attack? This garrison star is indeed the strongest border guard in the White Galaxy. The big bird creature instantly felt a crisis. But I've already got the thing. With a weapon like this, you can stop me, but if you want to cause harm to me, it's just a dream. This big bird creature moved suddenly, and at the last moment, it avoided the artillery attack containing strange power. But when he dodged the gunfire, the entire starry sky was suddenly filled with similar rays of gunfire as if by chance. Even this light can automatically aim and turn, attacking this powerful star-level creature one after another. Humph, you are so ignorant. If I hadn't worried about whether that white guy would come, I would have destroyed your garrison star today with one person and one claw. The big bird creature looked slightly unhappy, but it just continued to dodge the attacks of artillery fire under the attack of rays of light. After all, the stellar level is a stellar level. Even if there was artillery fire that could hit him during this period, it would only cause a little blackening of the feathers in his bird-like appearance. Not long after, this creature with stellar strength slowly flew into the starry sky. But on the garrison star below, there was no way to stop him. If you leave, those things must have been taken away by the other party, right? Well, after all, he long has personally taken action. We have been robbed by him and there is nothing we can do. He even used that Jia Yan. His strength is too weird. Under such circumstances, it is not bad that our garrison planet is not completely wiped out. Matter? Yes, this is not our fault. The white adults will definitely not blame us. Under the garrison star, every high-level executive was helpless at the scene before them. What they said was right. If there really was a fight, the river dragon could completely destroy this powerful garrison star. They were able to save most of the soldiers and military facilities on this planet, which is already a good result. Of course, there are many people they have to be responsible for this time, such as the person in charge of the competition venue and several senior officials who will all take the blame for this. But this is no longer something Jia Yan and the big bird creature would consider. I've got the stuff. I heard that the white man has been saving this stuff for 20 years. If I use it, I might be able to break through a small level now. The big bird creature was flying in the sky. The direction he was flying was his own battleship. This thing comes from the so-called Starry Sky Ghost. It is a great supplement for our star class, but it is also toxic to a certain extent. Therefore, the old white guy has not used it in these years. As for me, I will definitely get it. It also requires a certain process before you can take it. But once you get it, you get it. No matter if it's a white guy or whoever comes to ask for it, I won't take it out. The more it flew, the more excited the avian creature became. As a primary level creature from a star, he is completely at the bottom. Not to mention compared with a mid-level stellar master, even compared with a newly promoted stellar master, he is not much stronger. Therefore, his desire for power is extremely strong. By the way, what is the origin of Jia Yan who was stationed in the military star just now? I can vaguely feel that that guy doesn't seem to have died in the competition area. Even my half-star subordinate is dead. He just disappeared like that. Thinking of the flying star-level creature before, he suddenly felt a sense of surprise at Jia Yan who had just disappeared while he was trying to break out. He also felt a faint sense of disobedience to this sub-level creature with explosive strength and the ability to fight against a half-star level creature. After all, such an existence should not be a simple existence. It seems that only certain geniuses can do it in the second level. It is said that there is a place called the Stellar Academy thousands of light years away. It is a place for cultivating stellar classes. Many who enter are he is such a genius who can fight across different levels. And moreover, almost every creature that has graduated is a star level, and their strength exceeds that of ordinary star levels. Oh, why did I want to go to such a far away place? I don't want to think about it anymore. The stellar academic field is too far away. How can I meet any genius level stellar level experts in this place? What kind of genius is that? Why did you come to this dangerous place? The avian creature smiled to itself. But just when he put this idea aside, sudden puff. A sharp thing. Without any warning, it penetrated directly into the belly of his bird creature. Ah, what is this? The bird's stellar creature was stabbed in its vitals, and almost instantly, it screamed in shock. Mobile phone users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1299. Remember in 1 second to provide you with wonderful novels to read. In the subspace, Jia Yan, who was about to take action, became slightly calm. Although he was ready to attack at this moment, he was a step too late. So this blow was not done by him. There is someone, even I have hidden it. Who is this? Jia Yan's expression became solemn and he looked at the attack that stabbed the big bird creature. Jia Yan saw that the thing that stabbed the big bird creature was a long metal hook. This hook was not big, only 2 or 3 meters long, but it was hidden in the stars, even with the detection methods of strong people. It's all hidden, it's obviously not an ordinary thing, it's extremely shocking. And just as Jia Yan looked there, a faint voice also rang from a 10-kilometer large meteorite not far away. Haha, I said I was fishing here, how could I catch such a big guy? It turned out to be you, River Dragon. A part of the meteorite slowly squirmed, and a huge creature revealed its true appearance from that part of the disguise. It turned out to be a huge bear-like creature that reached about 2 kilometers in length. The giant bear held something like a fishing pole in its claws, and then looked at the bird star-level powerhouse caught by the fishhook here, and said lightly, "Helong, I wonder why you came to my white galaxy? If I hadn't been fishing nearby, you might have left without even meeting this old friend of mine. Don't you think it's too foreign?" The bird creature felt a burst of severe pain from his wound, and his expression was extremely depressed. Under the power of a brain wave, the fishing hook broke directly and fell from his body. Although he was injured, he was still a star. "Old white guy, don't say anything about fishing here. If you hadn't been waiting for me, how could you have planned on me with this simple trick? Stop talking so much, just tell me what you are going to do now," he said coldly. Even though he considers himself to be no match for the giant bear, this star still doesn't think that the opponent can completely retain him. "Ha, it's good that you know I'm waiting for you. I told you, I'm fishing, and you want to be the little fish yourself. Who can you blame now?" The bear creature's words caused the big bird creature's demeanor to change dramatically. "So, you are planning to keep me forever?" A fierce look appeared in his bird eyes, but then, the direction suddenly changed and he flew suddenly in another direction away from the bear-like creature. He knew that his strength was still slightly inferior to that of the furbolg, and this was other people's territory. If they really fought, he would only be ravaged, so it was better to leave now. However, the bear monster was not too anxious. Instead, it shook its head lightly as the bird creature flew. "Helong, you are too young. Don't you know that since I am waiting for you here, I will not be prepared to deal with your flying speed? Now, slow down for me." Just as he was speaking, the bird monster that was flying and escaping in the distance suddenly trembled, and then he lost speed and became weak in an instant. This, despicable, actually using poison. The bird creature's expression flashed with panic for the first time after realizing the reason why its speed was so slow. Because he felt that the fishhook that pierced his body just now was poisonous, and it was not an ordinary poison. Otherwise, it would not have been able to affect even a star-level powerhouse. It turns out that this is the real backhand of the white man. The expressions of the bird creatures finally changed. Haha, Helong, I don't like hearing what you say. If you hadn't been greedy for my ghost's blood, you wouldn't have fallen into my trap. We are only half as good as each other at most, so no one can tell anyone else. The bear-like creature smiled faintly, and then slowly flew towards the bird-like creature. The brainwave power and domain in its body were activated to the limit in an instant. Facing a star-level expert with similar strength, no one would hold back and not kill the bird opponent while it was poisoned. This bear-like monster was just stupid. The battle between the two sides started like this. Even though the signs of poisoning by the bird creature were extremely serious, both sides were at the star level after all, and they were both in their early stages. It was not that simple for the bear creature to easily defeat its opponent. So, all of this is just a layout to attract this bird creature. Jia Yan hid in the subspace and felt a sense of clarity in his heart. But soon, a strange smile appeared in his giant mosquito expression. Perhaps none of them thought that in this space, there is me, a star-level powerhouse, watching covetously from the side, right? Very good, you can fight now. When the battle is over, it will be my turn. Jia Yan smiled lightly. He was not in a hurry. Anyway, this battle did not seem to be over in a while. He was waiting for an opportunity. Throughout the starry sky, bursts of resounding explosion light resounded. Although there was no sound, the light of the explosion alone showed how terrifying the energy of the explosion was. And this is the power ripple caused by the battle between two stellar-level experts. Amazing. Speaking of which, this is a battle scene that I rarely see other star-level battles besides me. Jia Yan hid in the subspace and watched the battle scene outside. He has fought against many stellar-level experts before, but as a bystander, watching other stellar-level battles, seriously speaking, this is the first time. I see. If the other party does this, I should respond in this way. This is the right thing to do. How should this kind of brainwave power be resolved? It's really powerful. This is how the orthodox fighting method should be. Jia Yan learned a lot instantly in the subspace. For him, he is considered a newcomer among the stellar powerhouses. Although he can slightly surpass the level and fight against enemies, he relies mostly on his fighting instincts left over from the past. Now he has an opportunity to let him observing the battles of other strong men is almost a learning experience. The more moves you watch, the more you can make inferences. It is no exaggeration to say that Jia Yan's strength has also improved greatly in this game. The fighting outside also attracted the attention of a group of surrounding warships. In fact, this was originally a backup plan for the bear monster to be placed on one side. No, this fleet is actually your White Star Ace. To a certain extent, it can even contain the Star class to a certain extent. White people, you really want to kill me? When the bird creature saw the approaching group of warships, its demeanor changed wildly again. Since the bait has been spread, of course it will be harvested. Do you still think that I am joking with you? Now, suffer death. The bear-like creature laughed loudly, and under his command, the group of approaching battleships sprayed streams of liquid-like substance from the battleship's cannons. I know that you, a river dragon, are fast, so I specially prepared this high-tech product with extremely high viscosity for you. Although it has a certain impact on me, you are poisoned and your speed advantage is no longer available, so you are like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Can only suffer death. Throughout the starry sky, there are traces of liquids for hundreds of kilometers, and they solidify extremely quickly, and their viscosity seems to be extremely high. Although it is estimated that the star level cannot be limited for too long, it seems that as long as it can be delayed in a short time, the bird creature will definitely die. This situation is not good for me. It is only right for you two to fight and lose both sides. Jia Yan smiled slightly in the subspace. Then, somewhere in the subspace, a tiny shadow appeared without any warning. This is a creature that looks extremely small, about 1.75 meters tall with both hands and feet. He is none other than Jia Yan's human clone. As soon as this clone emerged from the subspace, it roared at the bird creatures in the battle. Lord Helong, I will help you deal with these warships. You run away. After saying that, Jia Yan's clone was like a loyal subordinate, fearlessly heading towards a group of elite battleships that sprayed liquid. Fortunately, this group of warships were widely dispersed for the purpose of jet tactics and did not have the advantage of concentrated fire attacks. Now they had more room to display against clones with only sub-level strength. Boom! A fierce light suddenly appeared when Jia Yan approached a battleship and blasted the battleship with one punch. In just such an instant, a powerful White Star Ace battleship was directly destroyed by Jia Yan's Quasiguan-level clone. Isn't this Jia Yan who was on that planet just now? How could he help me? Could it be that when was this the subordinate I recruited? It shouldn't be. Not only were the bear creatures on one side stunned, but at this moment, even the rescued bird monsters also trembled slightly. But he didn't have too many doubts. No matter who Jia Yan appeared, but now that he was in crisis, he stepped forward and he had to seize the opportunity. The bird creature took advantage of the startling moment of the bear-like star-level powerhouse and quickly got rid of the entanglement of the opponent's domain power. Domain is the most powerful means for a star-level expert, but in front of a star-level opponent who also masters the domain is not something that is too outstanding. As long as you also use the power of domain, you can destroy the opponent's domain. If the force is neutralized, you can easily escape. The bird creature fled while yelling at Jia Yan's clone that was entangled with the battleship in the distance. Well done, I will be rewarded when I go back. Take good care of these battleships. Yes, Jia Yan's clone in the distance also responded in a pretentious manner. Where to escape? The bear creature quickly turned away from paying attention to Jia Yan and quickly pursued the bird creature. At the same time, he transmitted messages to the hundreds of elite warships behind him. Kill. No matter where this guy comes from, kill him. Yes. From a group of battleships behind, extremely powerful voices responded. And just as these sounds were heard, from within hundreds of battleships, a creature that had reached the sub-level, or half-star level, suddenly flew out. Moreover, some battleships also aimed their jets at Jia Yan's clone. Mobile phone users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1300. Remember in 1 second to provide you with wonderful novels to read. The liquid ejected from the battleship is like a laser and can cover a large area of the starry sky in an instant, catching people off guard. If it wasn't so powerful, how could it even cause a headache at the stellar level? However, this liquid is very powerful, but not necessarily for Jia Yan. His clone's body was originally small, and with his talent for subspace, even if the liquid was about to arrive, he could escape into the subspace in a daze, making it impossible to catch him. This guy is so difficult to catch. He can actually escape into the subspace. This is the legendary subspace talent. What legendary talent? I heard that it is nothing to have such a talent more than 10,000 light years away. There must be a way to kill him. Come on, comrades. Just like the liquid, a group of half-star and sub-level creatures rushing towards him were also unable to get close to Jia Yan. Haha, play hide and seek with me. The talent in subspace is the hardest to catch. This is no joke. Even if Jia Yan's clone only has sub-level strength, his subspace talent can perfectly evade capture and attacks every time. Asshole, it's a little bit close every time. If I hadn't felt that his strength was just a second level, I would have doubted whether this guy was playing tricks on us. Yes, just like his performance in the Garrison Star just now, this guy is so weird. The masters in the Elite Ace battleship were almost furious as they chased Jia Yan. Fortunately, they had seen Jia Yan's performance on the Garrison Star before, so there was no big surprise at this time. He must have weaknesses. Let's work harder. Otherwise, when the Overlord comes back from dealing with the River Dragon, what's the point of being strong in front of the Star class? He will definitely be captured without a fight. Jia Yan was avoiding the attack of a sub-level strongman. The strongman thought that Jia Yan was exhausted from avoiding attacks from creatures large and small, and that it was impossible to fight back, so he didn't care so much about his own defense. But he didn't expect that Jia Yan, who was supposed to be hiding almost in the sky and on the earth, with nowhere to hide, suddenly came behind him. Puff! This sub-level creature suddenly felt a gentle sound coming from within his body. Then there was a sharp pain, which made him look at the painful part of himself. There, he saw a creature that was only the size of his fingernail, stabbing its arm into his heart. You! He was extremely frightened and could only say the sentence. Die! Following the tiny creature, after saying a faint word, he felt his body expand instantly. The sub-level creatures turned into a ball of flesh and blood in the universe, and could not die anymore. He was actually able to kill Master Gulen even though we were besieging him. Isn't this guy's strength at the average second level? Why is he so difficult to deal with? No matter, if he dares to kill my friends and others, he will definitely die. The half-star powerhouses and the sub-level experts all felt the terror of Jia Yan at this moment, but relying on their numbers, they wanted to kill Jia Yan, a big threat. The joint attack is even more intensive. Why bother? Jia Yan let out a long sigh. Looking from a distance, the two stellar powerhouses were already fighting and fleeing, leaving the battlefield. Thanks to Jia Yan's delay, not many battleships caught up with them. Okay, now that the goal has been achieved, goodbye. The clone shook his head and smiled, stepped into the subspace, and never appeared again. He escaped? He can still escape with thousands of troops. Is this still a sub-level? It seems that our army will be equipped with technology to prevent subspace creatures in the future. Otherwise, if we encounter such an opponent again, wouldn't we have to let it go? Come and go. For now, let's not worry about that. Now that Jia Yan is gone, let's hurry over to support the Overlord. It's just a trivial matter to pass each level one by one. Seeing Jia Yan leaving, a large wave of White Star Ace battleships all turned around and chased towards the battle position between the two star classes. But how fast is the stellar flight speed? By the time they get close, the battle may have come to an end. Moreover, outside the battleground between the two stellar masters, there is another stellar player watching eagerly. That is Jia Yan's true body. The clone did a good job, now it's up to me. Jia Yan watched the two masters fighting, both of them probably using real fire. The dead hands continued to strike, and the injuries on the bird creature began to increase. On the other hand, the bear monster on the other side, even if its strength completely suppressed the opponent, was still exhausted. Great. The fighting power of both of them was reduced to less than half during this period of pursuit and escape, and the bird monster was even less than 30% of its original strength. My chance of annihilating them now is as high as 70%. Jia Yan silently calculated the success rate of his shot, and then a bright light flashed in his eyes. A 70% chance is not too small for him, and even if the annihilation fails, if the opponent wants to escape, where can he escape with his own subspace strength? Jia Yan can wait for the two powerful men to decide whether they are alive or dead before taking action, but he can't guarantee whether the bird creature will destroy what it has obtained when it is about to die. This is what Jia Yan wants. So he firmly believed that he should take action now. Puff. A huge bear paw struck hard on the wings of the bird creature. Suddenly his wings were torn open and blood splattered everywhere. Haha, after fighting with me for so many years, Helong, you should be dead now. The bear-like creature laughed happily and continued to attack. For him, it was a joy to resolve such an opponent who had been fighting for many years. After all, as two adjacent galaxies, he and this bird creature, the river dragon, had too many irreconcilable conflicts. Asshole, I won't die. The avian creature roared almost in despair. He used his space-cutting power, but with his strength greatly damaged, he was unable to have much impact on the bear creature. The white bear-like creature was instantly seriously injured under this cut, but he still refused to give up such a great opportunity to kill and kept attacking. Stop, if you attack again, I will destroy your ghost blood. The river dragon roared in frightened despair. But the bear creature didn't stop at all. Destroy it? I will spend decades at most accumulating it. What does this ghost blood mean compared to killing a stellar powerhouse like you? After you die, your galaxy will also fall into my hands. That's right, bear creatures don't pay attention to the ghost blood that lures the opponent to appear. Even though this item is indeed a good treasure, it is still not that important compared to killing the enemy. His attacks continued to fall. But just before its attack fell, the bird monster flashed a flash of absolute determination at this moment, and its brainwave power buzzed. He saw that he really couldn't escape, so his brainwaves were agitated, and he wanted to completely destroy the ghost blood he was carrying. Destroy it, I won't regret it. The bear creature roared with a hint of pain and kept attacking. And just as his attack was about to fall on the river dragon, puff! A sharp foot seemed to appear in an instant from far away in the sky, and gently pierced his heart from the back of the bird creature that had been severely injured. A trace of blood shot out like an explosion in an instant. This. The two stellar powerhouses were shocked at this moment. You must know that even if they fight to the point of life and death, they are star-level experts after all. According to their senses, any creature weaker than star level is unlikely to approach them at will. Even for stars of the same level, if you want to get close to them easily, you have to use special means, let alone get close, and you can attack them so unknowingly. And this sudden creature came unexpectedly when neither of them could react, and even with one blow, its foot pierced into the vital part of the body of the river dragon who wanted to destroy the treasure. This sharp foot was like a sharp knife. With one blow, it penetrated the huge bird body of the river dragon, entering through the back and out from the front. The brainwave power was released like an explosion in an instant, as if he was afraid that the river dragon would destroy the ghost's blood at the last moment. You. The river dragon's demeanor changed drastically. At the end, with a trace of clear power, he turned the bird's head, trying to see clearly who was attacking him. It must be a star-level opponent from the nearby star field, otherwise he would not have been able to sneak attack at the most tense moment of his battle with the white race. But what caught his eyes was an extremely unfamiliar face. Helong was startled. Then he asked confusedly, "Who are you?" Boom! An extremely astonishing light suddenly exploded in the sky. A star-level figure was killed at the end by the opponent's brainwave power without even knowing the name and origin of the opponent who killed him. Dead, this. The bear-like creature that had been fighting the river dragon just now quickly retreated, barely able to conceal its inner shock. He had calculated everything, but he never expected that when he was about to kill the enemy, a star-level powerhouse that he had never seen before would actually appear. And in the place of the explosion, sure enough, where the river dragon was killed, a huge flying insect creature with scars all over its body just stood there. Jia Yan carefully took the three metal vat-like items that he grabbed at the last moment and took them under his wings. Then, he looked at the bear creature that was escaping quickly. "Hello, friends of Stellar Battlefield." After saying that, he actually stepped into the subspace instantly, and the huge giant mosquito body spanned hundreds of kilometers in an instant. He came to the bear monster. Then. Goodbye, friends of stellar battlefield. Puff. A front foot, like an endless sharp blade, instantly pierced the space and pierced into the chest of the bear creature. Ah, domain. What surprised Jia Yan was that this bear-like creature suddenly exploded the power of its own domain at the last moment. Mobile phone users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1301. Remember in 1 second to provide you with wonderful novels to read. Jia Yan felt a powerful wave of force in an instant, and he suddenly pushed himself backwards. And the foot that pierced into the opponent's body was bounced away before it had time to explode the brainwave power. Huh? You didn't use the field to counter me? The Furbolg was shocked. Then he was ecstatic. So that's it, you are just a junior who has just entered the star. You don't even have a field, let's see how you can still trouble me. The Furbolg discovered the fact that Jia Yan did not have a domain. After all, as a star, he was sensitive to the strength of creatures that were also star level, especially when Jia Yan was pushed away by his domain. At that moment, he had a domain of star level. It must have been instinctive to use the field to counterattack, but Jia Yan didn't do it. Humph, even if you have good space talent, as long as you don't have a domain, you will definitely not be able to stand up to me. Just wait, I can kill you after I recover a certain amount of physical strength. The stellar bear's body was severely injured, and he could no longer care about the energy consumption. He opened the field and retreated like crazy. Is his domain actually power? Jia Yan was far away in the starry sky. It took him a long time to stop being pushed away by the opponent. He also immediately knew the field direction of this stellar powerhouse, which turned out to be strength. This power is even more powerful than the black-looking star I fought last time. However, his combat skills are inferior to that of the black star, and his overall strength is about 10% weaker. Jia Yan also instantly judged the strength of this stellar bear monster. Is this the difference between the stellar class in the Stellar Academy and the ordinary stellar class? However, the stellar class are all favored by heaven, so even if there is a difference in strength, the difference is not much. After Jia Yan thought so much, he saw that the Furbolg was already flying away quickly, opening the realm in almost a moment, and running for more than 1,000 kilometers. Then he smiled slightly, stepped forward with his foot, and his whole body entered the subspace. As other creatures have seen, as subspace creatures, it is almost difficult for non-subspace creatures to escape his pursuit, whether they are running away or chasing people. Of course, if the opponent enters the battleship, it will be different. Hurry, hurry, my battleship is right in front. He can only get there before he can kill me. The feeling of hanging by a thread almost caused the bear monster to explode at an unprecedented speed, but the closer he got to the place where the warship was hidden, the more excited he became. Is it because that guy's strength is not good enough and he doesn't dare to step forward after being pushed by my domain? Whether it is or not, I am seriously injured now and it is impossible to deal with him. If I want to deal with him, I have to wait until I am healed. Damn it, a good ambush unexpectedly encountered such a variable. The bear creature was almost discouraged by his own battle this time. What was originally a good trap to kill the river dragon had turned into a battle in which he was almost trapped in death. But it's not his fault. Who would have expected that a strange star-level powerhouse would suddenly appear in his white galaxy? Hurry. When I go back to regain my strength, I will definitely find out about him nearby. I will definitely take revenge. The battleship is right in front of you, and this bear monster is just a little bit close to being able to enter the battleship. But when he was ecstatic, thinking he had seen the light of day, a space door opened in front of the bear creature. A creature with a slender mouthpart slowly stepped out of this space. Friend, why are you leaving in such a hurry? We haven't had enough fun, right? Jia Yan's faint words almost made the bear-like creature shiver all over. You, who are you? It seems that I, the white man, have no relationship with you. Why do you want to kill them all? Jia Yan listened to the other party's words and then shook his head slightly. So you are a white race, huh? Since you are an eternally strong person, you shouldn't be so naive and think that I will let you go now, right? Jia Yan was slightly startled when he heard that the other party was the overlord star-level powerhouse of this white galaxy. Although he had guessed it before, now that he really knew his true identity, Jia Yan felt a little unreal. I didn't expect that the existence on the clone's side, that I wanted to find out but couldn't find out, would appear in front of the real body so easily, and was about to be killed by me now. You are simply too deceptive. I am afraid of you if you are just a being who has no realm of comprehension. The white overlord suppressed his desire to escape at this moment, roared angrily, and then the huge bear body charged towards Jia Yan, running on all fours. At the same time, bursts of domain power rippled out from the surface of his body, seeming to want to kill Jia Yan with one blow, or seriously injure him. After all, apart from these two methods, he had no other way to escape from Jia Yan, who had the talent for subspace. Now he is extravagantly hoping that this strange star-level powerhouse who suddenly appeared will not have any backhand power when facing the field, so that he will win. Field. Jia Yan stood far away, looking at the huge body charging in front of him. The fighting spirit in his eyes flashed slightly. For him now, although he has some clues about the power of the domain, he is still missing the mark. So in the past, when facing strong men in the field, he usually chose to avoid it, but this time he did not do that. You didn't hide. Don't blame me for seeking death. When the white overlord saw that Jia Yan was not avoiding his territory, a flash of ecstasy flashed in his eyes at this moment. You must know that a star-level creature that has no mastery field is almost completely unequal to its own strength to other star levels. It is like looking at a baby in a star level. Jia Yan's strength, in the eyes of this stellar overlord, is strong, but the strength lies in his elusive subspace talent. If he directly fights against his own domain, even if he is seriously injured and unable to do anything, this baby-like guise, don't we have to lose? While they were talking, the two creatures were already within less than 100 kilometers. Bo. Suddenly, Jia Yan felt a terrifying force that filled the entire space around him with ice. Haha, enter my domain and you will die. The bear creature, almost at this moment, was extremely happy, because he thought that Jia Yan could only be controlled by his own domain, and even his subspace could not be used within his own domain. In this battle, I might be overturned by myself. The field of power is indeed extremely terrifying. But Jia Yan stood within the area controlled by the opponent, and his demeanor did not change much. Even though he felt that the surrounding space was faintly squeezing him, or even pushing him away, he still did not waver much. But I have already seen this kind of field once, so. Jia Yan shook his head. Before the ecstatic bear creature came, his body retreated slightly. At the same time, a burst of black brilliance flowed across his body surface. The prototype of the field. At this moment, the bear creature felt the black brilliance flowing from Jia Yan's body, and a bad premonition suddenly emerged in his expression. Because this calculation was wrong, this strange star-level powerhouse, even if he did not master the domain, did have the prototype of the domain, so the strength between them could not be measured by his previous thoughts. Puff puff. Jia Yan felt that even if he barely used the black brilliance on the surface of his body, which was the prototype of the realm as others said, the huge power of the realm was still suppressing his body fiercely. As expected of a normal domain, it is indeed extremely powerful. If we were to change to another star level, even if we could understand the prototype of the domain, we would still be suppressed to death by the power of this domain, right? But I am different, even just a little bit, but as long as I am given room to move, then. Jia Yan looked at the bear-like creature in front of him, with a claw slapping towards him, and the attack almost reached the tip of his mouth, and shook his head lightly. Then, Jia Yan was actually within this field, suddenly took a step back, and his whole body entered the subspace. Here, get out of here. The bear-like creature smacked it down with its paw, but Jia Yan calmly avoided it at the last moment. This was almost a psychological blow to the white man who launched an all-out attack. More of his power was wasted on this blow. As you wish. Even though he was on guard, a figure still faintly appeared behind the white man. Before he could move his claws to block him, he had already gently pierced the opponent's back with his sharp feet. You. The white man looked helplessly at the foot that had pierced his vitals, and then a flash of despair flashed in his eyes. Originally, this time Anyang was to kill his great enemy Helong, but Helong was indeed dead, but what he didn't expect was that even he himself would die directly under the hands of this strange star that suddenly appeared. This is the cruelty of the universe. Even the life of a star is at risk. Answer, promise me. Don't destroy this white star. Bai Zhong wanted to say something, but Jia Yan showed no mercy and directly exploded with brainwave power. In the universe, a mass of flesh and blood exploded. The majestic white star overlord was directly killed by another star class in his own territory. The overlord is dead. Not far away, White Star Ace battleships rushed to the rescue one after another. They saw the scene from a distance. At this time, no matter who it was, they looked shocked, as if they could not believe the facts in front of them. You know, this is the overlord of their white stars, who has controlled the existence of the white galaxy for decades. He was even a top-notch being in this stellar battlefield. You must know that he was a stellar star, but he died like that. They couldn't believe it. Okay, your white overlord is dead, now I give you a choice. Surrender or death. Mobile phone users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1302. Remember in 1 second to provide you with wonderful novels to read. As for the White Stars, they still chose to surrender. Not only the Ace Fleet, but also the White Star garrison at the rear, immediately chose to surrender after knowing that the Overlord was destroyed. After a period of silence, they chose to surrender. If they don't surrender, they can still kill the White Star Overlord in the face of a stellar powerhouse. What can they do against the existence of the Overlord of the Helong Galaxy? Here, my lord, I wonder what your fate is. Inside the garrison star, a large group of officers surrounded a huge creature. They all looked respectful, fearing that if they were not careful, the creature in front of them would be furious. You know, this is a great being who can kill stars of the same level. Is my name taboo? Jia Yan thought for a while. His name must be well known in the Stellar Academy. Although this place is far away, it is still within the scope of their influence. It is better not to say his original name. You can call me Assassin. Yes, Lord Assassin, here is the number of soldiers and logistics information on our garrison star. Please take a look at it, Lord Assassin. A creature that seemed to have reached the peak of half-star level came to Jia Yan and projected some information through the brain. Don't look at it. I don't care about you so much for the time being. Your positions and salary conditions don't need to change now. I won't do anything to you. Jia Yan waved his feet, and then led a group of senior executives directly to the interior of the huge building. Sure enough, to Jia Yan's disappointment, there was no other ghost blood in the building. Of course, he didn't have too many expectations. After all, if there were any left, Why not take them all when the river dragon came to seize them? Sir, we know that no, the white race used to have a unique way to obtain ghost blood. Please take a look, sir. A senior executive saw that Jia Yan seemed to be very interested in the ghost blood, so he quickly took out a set of brain information as if offering a treasure, and passed it all to Jia Yan's brain. Huh? Starry sky fishing method, this is quite interesting. It also contains some good information about the origin and speculation of this starry sky ghost. To be honest, Jia Yan is not very interested in controlling a galaxy. But now that he has obtained this fishing method, Jia Yan has become more interested in white stars. Especially when I saw that the former overlord of the white star, the white race, actually used certain secret methods in order to bring the starry sky ghost to this white star galaxy. This made the starry sky ghost in the white star have such a large scale. So that's it, that huge starry sky ghost was actually cultivated to be so huge because of people, and even the white star overlord didn't know that there were already existences comparable to star level among its individuals. If he knew, if so, maybe he wouldn't have such a calm attitude. Jia Yan felt that the sergeant creature was of great help to him, so he casually agreed to a higher position, which made the sergeant extremely ecstatic. Not long after, before Jia Yan could say anything, he heard a document of surrender suddenly coming from within the White Star, saying that he was surrendering to Jia Yan. In this stellar battlefield, creatures that are weaker than the stellar class must have good eyesight and the ability to change direction according to the wind, otherwise they will die without knowing how. Oh, since I surrendered, it saves me a lot of trouble. In this case, my Edisha doesn't need to be repaired on this garrison planet. Let's repair it on the White Star. After all, there are no conditions elsewhere. White stars are good. Jia Yan thought for a while, and then asked a group of creatures on the garrison star not to panic and continue to guard the garrison star as before. A group of garrison stars were listening carefully to the creature's lecture. Halfway through the lecture, Jia Yan suddenly had an idea. Beside him, space cracked open again and again. Inside, he saw a tiny being who was no different from an earthling, taking a faint step forward. I've met the assassin. This creature that resembles an earthling is, of course, Jia Yan's own clone. In order not to arouse suspicion, Jia Yan controlled him and bowed to his real body. Isn't this, that Jia Yan? Why does he appear next to the assassin? Humph, if it hadn't been for this guy, we wouldn't have been in such chaos before, and so many people wouldn't have died. When a group of creatures saw the clones next to their real body, their expressions changed wildly. However, they were also discerning. After their anger passed, they immediately realized that this Jia Yan actually appeared from the side of the assassin, and the way he appeared seemed to be the same as when the assassin was fighting with the Caucasian. The subspace power coming out has a vaguely similar feeling. Is this Jia Yan actually a subordinate of Lord Assassin? No wonder, now I understand. He is a chess piece responsible for causing trouble in our garrison planet, so that the assassin can kill 2-star-level chessmen. A group of high-level creatures looked at each other with wild expressions. After understanding this, they understood that this Jia Yan, he was actually Lord Assassin's confidant, and they didn't dare to treat him as an enemy like before. Okay, most of you should know who he is. That's right, he is Jia Yan who made a big fuss in your garrison star before. You can be your companions from now on. When facing Jia Yan, you must treat him like I am the same. If you violate this point, I will take your life at any time, do you understand? Hearing Jia Yan's murderous words, all the garrison star officers and soldiers trembled. Lian Man responded loudly, I understand. I have met Mr. Jia Yan. The real body did not assign any position to the clone. Originally, he meant that the clone had the same position as himself. After all, this was his clone, almost the same as himself. But this made all the surrounding creatures almost dumbfounded. He thought that the Jia Yan in front of him was so loved by the assassin that he had the same power as the assassin himself. Now I will go with Jia Yan to accept the white star. You must not mess up here. Do you understand? After waiting for the consent of all the creatures, Jia Yan took the clone and stepped into the subspace together. Here, are you leaving now? One by one, the senior officials of the garrison star looked at the place where Jia Yan and the clone left, and they were all dumbfounded. Let me ask you, any strong man, after accepting the territory of another strong man, didn't he start a bloody storm? But in their eyes, this assassin master took over their garrison star. Such a military unit actually left without any killings or any changes in power. Don't be confused. This assassin is definitely not that simple. He can kill the river dragon and the white race, which shows that he is very powerful now. And have you noticed that the vitality erupting in this adult's body is different from the unlike the dying white race? He is definitely extremely young. How could such a young star class aim at a small white race galaxy? So, it's not that he's unwary, it's that he doesn't take our mere garrison planet, or the entire white planet, seriously at all. Well, that's it. This is an existence with lofty ambitions, completely surpassing that of white people and river dragons. Well, it is our luck to work under such an existence. Don't cause trouble to the adults in the future. After understanding the possible attitude of this creature, Jia Yan, the senior executives of the garrison star one after another gritted their teeth, gave up some of their little thoughts, settled down on this white star, and carried out their own activities as usual. Job position. Jia Yan, on the other side, took his clone into the subspace and came to the Aditha. Haha, master, the Aditha can be repaired, right? Woohoo, it can finally be repaired. You don't know. The Aditha has been in bad shape recently. Look, the right side of the ship is a little bit damaged. It's 50 centimeters, so miserable. As soon as they arrived in the Edissa, the little Edissa, who turned into a mosquito of light and shadow, came to Jia Yan, jumping and laughing with great joy. Okay, it's almost ready to be repaired, can't you stop being so excited? Jia Yan smiled helplessly. Yeah, Adisha won't dance anymore. Adisha quickly pretended to be calm because she was afraid that Jia Yan would not repair it if he was angry. Aditha started, and in the normal subspace, kept a speed slightly faster than the speed of ordinary battleships, and drove towards the white star's own star. By the way, the Avatar should go back to the 5th Satellite University. Anyway, there's nothing much going on recently. I happen to have an identity mixed in with ordinary creatures, and I can also take a look at what changes there are in ordinary creatures. Jia Yan thought for a while and arranged the clone's task in this way. The journey was uneventful, and not long after, the 20-kilometer-long Aditha arrived in the subspace beyond the white star. In this place, a small figure flew out of the subspace. However, he did not fall towards the white star's own star. Instead, he spotted a small satellite not far away that was not too big, and then flew up. As for his body, he used the communicator on the Edissa to send a signal to the white star. Not long after, a figure first appeared on the small satellite. Jia Yan, didn't you go to participate in a mysterious mission? Why are you back so soon? A blackbird monster looked at the human-like creature standing in front of him in amazement. The person in front of him was Jia Yan's clone. Haha, the mission is over and I'll be back. Yeah, it's good to come back. Listen to me. You've been away for the past few days. I'm really miserable. Those guys who challenged you can't find you, and they actually come to deal with me, especially what's the name of the elf? The little girl from my clan follows me and shoots cold arrows every day. Woo woo, Jia Yan, you have to make the decision for me. The big blackbird almost cried. Oh, I know, let me help you if I have a chance. Jia Yan nodded lightly, but he quickly raised his head and looked at the dark starry sky. Mobile phone users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. Reborn as an interstellar giant mosquito. Author, Bulletin U. Chapter 1303. Remember in 1 second to provide you with wonderful novels to read. Jia Yan, what are you looking at? Blackbird was about to raise his head following Jia Yan's gaze. Unexpectedly, at this moment, the entire 5th Satellite University was in chaos. Everyone, please gather at the school martial arts playground. Broadcasts everywhere suddenly rang out, and biology students who were either ordinary, Earth level, or starry level, all started running quickly in the school. Quick, Jia Yan, let's go there too. It was the first time that the big bird creature saw such a tense scene in the academy. He quickly urged Jia Yan and then ran away towards the martial arts field. Haha, this 5th star reacts quickly. Now let's see what the attitude is around us. Jia Yan was not so anxious, but walked slowly towards the martial arts field. Above the starry sky at this time, the person who caused all this was none other than Jia Yan's true form above the starry sky. When the real body was riding the Etissa, after its hideous appearance was revealed in the space, battleships and spaceships, like fish rising up in a hurry, flew rapidly from the white star or the surrounding satellites. Rise. It's crazy, a group of creatures, almost like they are facing a war, busy and nervous. They couldn't help but be nervous, because at this time they were facing a creature who could easily decide the fate of the entire galaxy. Unfortunately, no one in the center of this galaxy knows the specific origin of this being. In this situation, can they not be nervous? Gong, welcome the assassin. Welcome, Lord Assassin. Not long after the Aditya appeared in the starry sky, in this large starry sky, countless battleships and spaceships, like little ants, numbering in the tens of thousands, all started shouting loudly. An overlord-level constant-breathing powerhouse deserves such a respectful welcome. Hey, does this style feel good? Jia Yan looked at the admired scene in front of him indifferently, and couldn't help but shake his head slightly. It's not that he likes this scene, but at least it can make the creatures in this galaxy feel a little safer. You've done a great job. Forget about the red tape. I don't like this. Okay, now follow me to the white star. Jia Yan, like a real overlord, said calmly to the surrounding starry sky. His words spread across tens of thousands of kilometers, and even the university students on the 5th planet not far away were able to understand and hear them clearly. Wow, my God, who is this? It's amazing. It feels like it's at least the top of the semi-star level. It's scary. The bird creatures didn't know what was going on, but they saw a majestic creature through the big screen on the martial arts field. The teachers asked them to salute the creature respectfully. Not long after they did so, the entire martial arts field was full of people. The students heard the earth-shattering words spoken by this creature. What nonsense are you talking about? You don't understand this master's strength at all. His strength is stellar level. Show me some respect. Suddenly a female voice came to the ears of the big bird creature. Jia Yan turned around and saw the elf girl who had challenged him, holding a longbow on her back and looking at the terrifying giant mosquito figure on the big screen with a dull look on her face. Holy shit, stellar. The big black bird was startled, and quickly looked at the creature on the screen, not daring to show any impolite expression, and became respectful. You must know that the star level is like a god in this star battlefield, especially for ordinary creatures like them. They are terrifying and powerful men who have broken through the sky. They can trample countless people to death with one kick. Such a big bird. Jia Yan, look, this is a star. I never thought that I would see a star in my lifetime. The big black bird was almost excited and growled at Jia Yan's constant excitement. The former white star overlord, that is, the bear-like creature, did not like to appear in front of people, so under normal circumstances, ordinary creatures have never seen his appearance. This is the case for overlords, let alone the constant outsiders. Star, so this big bird creature has never seen a star-level powerhouse in person, even in the live broadcast. Of course, there are recordings. But that doesn't count as seeing it with your own eyes. Oh, now you see it? Jia Yan shook his head slightly, seemingly unconcerned. He was thinking, if this big bird knew that he was a clone of that star, wouldn't it be frightened to death? But Jia Yan wouldn't say it, and at this moment he released the power of brainwaves that no one on the satellite could detect, and slowly listened to more sensitive topics on the planet. Yes, this was Jia Yan's purpose. He wanted to use this clone to see what these ordinary creatures actually thought of him, a star who suddenly appeared and squeezed out the status of the white race. In the stellar battlefield, anything is possible. Don't think that a weak person has no means to deal with him. If Jia Yan is not careful, he will be held back for a period of time with the technology here, and then he will cooperate with the outside world to let the strong ones from the outside come over. Killing him might be possible. Of course, the possibility of that is extremely low, and Jia Yan is just taking precautions now. Haha, another country bumpkin, what are you pretending to be? Facing a star-level adult, you still pretend to be so calm, which only shows that you are a country bumpkin. The elf woman actually saw Jia Yan's attitude and started mocking him with cold words. Jia Yan turned his eyes away and gave the woman a helpless look. Not to be outdone, the other party glared back. Jia Yan shook his head. As a star-level expert, he didn't want to have a conflict with an ordinary creature. If he got into trouble with an ordinary creature, it would be embarrassing to talk about it. Forget it, Fuya. This guy is from the country. He was born in mining. He probably doesn't even know the difference between stellar level and sub-level level. Don't be angry, a bear monster who has reached the earth level walked up to this guy. The elf woman's side also turned her cold gaze to Jia Yan. Jia Yan was even more helpless now. He was wondering if he had kept a low profile. If he had raised the identity of this clone, it wouldn't be like this now. However, all this noise, accompanied by Jia Yan in space, said that after entering the White Star, a group of battleships and spaceships scattered, followed by others, and after they were all cleared, the entire academy became quiet again. Of course, a stellar star suddenly appeared in the sky above the White Star, but the great White Star overlord of their White Star did not appear. This made people with fast minds feel a little bit confused. Strange. However, they did not ask. After all, it was too sensitive. If they guessed wrong, the impact would be too great. If a rumor monger were to cover it up, their lives would be in danger. Soon the group of students dispersed, and Jia Yan and the big bird monster returned to their dormitory. Unexpectedly, the bear creature following the girl also followed Jia Yan not long after. Jia Yan, right? I heard that you went on some secret mission some time ago. The bear creature seems to be vaguely similar to the white species, but it is much smaller. He is only about 3 meters tall at the earth level. Well, you can say whatever you want. I'm very pressed for time. Jia Yan responded to the bear creature lightly. He probably knew how this Furbolg was attracted to that elf woman, but what did this have to do with him? As for him possibly being related to a Caucasian, can dead creatures still be relied upon? What's more, even if the white man is still alive, Jia Yan is not afraid. Huh? You are so crazy in front of a prefect. It seems that the rumors about you are not false. Boy, let's do this. You have offended Fuya, and I don't want your life. Now promise me tomorrow's challenge. That's it? That's right, I challenge you. Don't worry, the most I can do is ask for 1 or 2 of your arms. I won't kill you. How about that? Jia Yan almost burst into laughter, shook his head helplessly, and agreed to him. If you don't dare to come tomorrow, then don't blame me for using other means. Before leaving, the Furbolg lightly threatened Jia Yan. It seems that when I use the strength of ordinary creatures to deal with others, I am still a little weak. Well, let's use the earth level. Jia Yan shook his head helplessly, and the power fluctuations on his body flashed, and he suddenly transformed into an early earth-level creature. With his strength, coupled with the combat effectiveness he has shown before, sweeping through the prefecture level will be nothing. The matter on the clone's side was not a big deal. After Jia Yan inquired about the surrounding reactions and felt that there was no hidden conspiracy, he turned his attention to his real body. Master Assassin, this is our large shipyard on the White Planet. If you want to use it, other projects can be stopped within 3 days and we will fully help you repair the warship. In his true form, Paitong, a half-star official, is carefully beside Jia Yan. I feel the surging young vitality of this star-level powerhouse next to me. Even though the strength seems to be a little weaker than the white man who used to be with me, this half-star level powerhouse still has no small strength. Look at Jia Yan in front of you. Because this assassin, is the existence of the white race that he killed with his own hands. I even heard that even the river dragon was killed in the hands of the assassin, and he was able to kill 2 stars in a row. Grade, and so young, who dares to despise him? Besides, even if Jia Yan's strength is not as strong as the 2 white ones, he is still a star. As long as he is a star, he is definitely not something that he, a star and a half, can despise. Well, good, let's start stopping other projects now. In 3 days, I will have my battleship come in for repairs. Jia Yan said calmly. Okay, the half-star creature originally just said it casually. After all, as long as Jia Yan has a little long-term vision, he will not stop other projects, because it is easy to stop. If he wants to start again, he will have to involve for many problems, the time and energy spent will be several times greater. Unexpectedly, Jia Yan stopped right when he said it. Lord Jia Yan, then, the Helong Galaxy replied, they refused to surrender. Recommended new book Wild Escape Female Anchor, everyone is welcome to read it. Mobile phone users please browse and read for a better reading experience.